It's a tough call no one wants to get wrong. Schools, teachers, and parents are still struggling over how children can safely learn during surging cases of COVID-19 across this country.
Yeah, and that comes as negotiations over another coronavirus relief bill remain stalled on Capitol Hill despite more than a week's worth of meetings.
So to discuss all of this and more with us, Texas Senator John Cornyn is joining us from Washington, D.C. Senator, thanks again for so much for joining us.
Happy to be with you. Thank you.
Senator, do you think Governor Greg Abbott's direction to let each district decide the best course to reopen is working?
I think letting parents and teachers and local school officials is the right way to go. Texas is a big place, and the coronavirus has not affected every location the same. I think the most important issue is safety. Obviously, we all agree with that. And there are measures that schools can take in order to protect children as they return to the classroom. But as you know, many school districts are starting with online and will transition there later on. What I worry about, particularly in rural parts of our state, is that many don't have broadband access. Kids may not have the access to the computers and the hardware they need to continue their learning. So we need to figure out how to manage this virus in a way that our students can return to the classroom eventually.
And Senator Cornyn, should there be federal funding increases to help with the health needs in schools, such as hiring full-time nurses in each school?
Yes, we plan on trying to send money to the states for school staffing, nurses, plexiglass shields, all of the social distancing we need. We know that there are going to be a lot of accommodations that need to be made, but we know that our essential workers have been working in this environment for a long time, and I'm confident if we can teach our children to do the things we all are doing, including the United States Senate, washing our hands, maintaining social distance, wearing masks when you can, and staying home when you're sick, we can work our way through this safely.
Senator, our next question is from a teacher, Mary Beth Lee, and her question is simple. Why do we not have a second COVID relief bill for people struggling right now? What's the holdup here?
Well, we have, up until this point, we've avoided the sort of partisan dysfunction that unfortunately too often characterizes Washington, D.C. We passed a number of bills, I think 4 of them all total, worth $3 trillion. And we've learned some things that worked and things that didn't work. I support another corona relief bill, but so far we haven't seen an interest on the part of Speaker Pelosi or Senator Schumer to actually negotiate the differences between us. We're used to dealing with these situations and eventually coming to some agreement, but so far they just don't seem to have much interest.
And Senator, a weekly CARES Act supplement to unemployment benefits ended recently for many of those who are jobless for months now. So do you think it should be renewed?
Yes, I do. And we tried to do that, including just a moment ago when I just left the Senate floor. We offered what's known as a unanimous consent request to extend those benefits while these negotiations continue. Unfortunately, Senator Wyden, the senator from Oregon, objected. He said they're not going to do this on a piecemeal basis. But unfortunately, in the meantime, they're dropping a lot of people into economic distress because of their unwillingness to continue these benefits while negotiations continue.
Before we let you go, Senator, you've helped introduce a bill to give grants to independent music venues that are really hurting right now. Do you see any real help out there, grant dollars in the future for bar owners who've been shut down again for so long with no end in sight right now?
Yeah, the hospitality industry has been among the hardest hit, but we know that really the virus does not discriminate in terms of the pain that it's inflicted, whether it's a public health concern or an economic concern. So we'd like to try to extend the Paycheck Protection Program, which has been enormously popular in providing a lifeline to those businesses, as well as provide benefits to individuals, including unemployment insurance, until we can get on the other side of this virus and begin to safely reopen our economy. This virus is not going away anytime soon, so that's why we need to continue to learn and adapt so we can get on to as much of our lives as normal, recognizing that nothing will really be fully normal until we get a vaccine.
And Senator, one last question. The Texas Tribune says the National Democratic Senatorial Campaign is putting a target on your re-election effort and sending more than $1 million to your opponent, MJ Hager. So do you think, honestly, this race will go down to the wire?
Well, I expect it will be competitive. We've been preparing for the last 2 years, ever since that close race between Senator Cruz and Beto O'Rourke. But when you get past the personalities and you get down to the policies on where Texans really come down, I'm confident we'll be able to be very competitive and ultimately prevail. But I don't take any election for granted, particularly one where the swamp in D.C. are handpicking their candidate, and she's using the talking points of national Democrats on policies that really are very harmful to Texas and to Texas working families.
Senator Cornyn, thanks so much, very much, for taking the time to talk about these issues with us today.
Great to be with you. Thank you.
A Morning Consult poll released on Tuesday is the latest survey to show a narrowing gap between Senator Cornyn and his Democratic challenger, as we mentioned before, MJ Hager. Cornyn maintains a lead over Hager in the Texas Senate race, though his advantage has slipped from 9 points to 6 compared to the Quinnipiac University poll released in July. The latest poll found 14% of voters are still undecided in the U.S. Senate race.